I found another one.
Another what?
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Mr. Paramahansa Buddhacharya Ashtotar the Sri Srimad Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Sripad Paramahansa Buddhikacharya Ashtotar Tata Sri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavin Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glory to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. On the second day of August 2017 in SanDiego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. I think they're running this fan up here. Can I just check it? Notice?
Yep. Yeah.
Big fan.
Is that an attic fan?
That's some kind of an exhaust fan that they put up there. Probably running all day. Okay. So, what did I say?
Page. I'm going to say 9.
So we just did Om Namo. We did Om Namo. Okay, right. Forgive me. Well, that won't help. All right, just give me a second. Start again. We definitely did Om Namo, so we'll start with this. On the second day of August 2017 in SanDiego, reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We are in chapter 7 entitled Knowledge of the Absolute. Text number 9, page 314. Okay. Punyo gandha prativyangcha tejas chasmi vibhavasau jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapas chasmi tapasvishu punyo gandha prativyangcha tejas chasmi vibhavasau jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapas chasmi tapasvishu punyo gandha prativyangcha tejas chasmi vibhavasau jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapas chasmi tapasvishu. Punyo gandha prativyangcha tejas chasmi vibhavasau jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapas chasmi tapasvishu. Punyo gandha prativyangcha tejas chasmi vibhavasau jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapas chasmi tapasvishu. Punyo gandha prativyangcha tejas chasmi vibhavasau jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapas chasmi tapasvishu. Punya, original. Gandha, fragrance. Prithivyan, in the earth. Cha, also. Teja, heat. Cha, also. Asmi, I am. Vibhavaso, in the fire. Jivanam, life. Sarva, in all. Bhuteshu, living entities. Tapaha, penance. Cha, also. Asmi, I am. Tapasvishu, in those who practice penance. Radhapriya, give him your book and get this in the book. It'll be all set for him. This is hard. Thanks. Okay. Okay. Translation. I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat and fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penances of all ascetics. Purport. Punya means that which is not decomposed. Punya is original. Everything in the material world has a certain flavor or fragrance, as the flavor and fragrance in a flower, or in the earth, in water, in fire, in air, etc. The uncontaminated flavor, the original flavor, which permeates everything, is Krishna. Similarly, everything has a particular original taste, and this taste can be changed by the mixture of chemicals. So everything original has some smell, some fragrance, and some taste. Vibhavaso means fire. Without fire, we cannot run factories, we cannot cook, etc. And that fire is Krishna. The heat in the fire is Krishna. According to Vedic medicine, indigestion is due to a low temperature in the belly. So even for digestion, fire is needed. In Krishna consciousness, we become aware that earth, water, fire, air, and every active principle, all chemicals and all material elements, are due to Krishna. The duration of man's life is also due to Krishna. Therefore, by the grace of Krishna, man can prolong his life or diminish it. So Krishna consciousness is active in every sphere. Om jnanatimirandasya jnanandana shalakaya chakshu unmidatam mena tasmai shri gurave namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisance unto him and all members of Sri Parampara. So this is a kind of meditation. It's kind of like for the first step in God realization. There's a chapter in second canto, you may remember from last night, called the first step in God realization, and it deals with the universal form. And it's right in the text of the Bhagavatam. It says this form is imaginary. It's not the same as Krishna's transcendental expansions and his Vishnu forms and all these things. But it's a useful way of thinking for neophytes to start to see everything in relation to Krishna. Rather than just seeing the sun and the moon, you see the eyes of the universal form and all this type of thing. So this is a similar idea. Krishna has just explained, I am earth, water, fire, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. I am also the higher energy, para prakriti, known as the living entities. So all of these different elements, they interact and they produce these different things that we're hearing now. First he said, Rasoham apsukonte, I am the taste of water. Prabhupada talks about how the pure taste of water, which is an attractive feature. The light of the sun and the moon. The syllable Om in the Vedic literatures. And any sound in ether, and the ability in man, any ability we may have. And then he goes on. Now he's also covering all the different five senses. The rasa is for the tongue, obviously, as taste. The light is for the eyes. Shabdas for the ears. Now he's talking about the fragrance of the earth, right? So all of these are, we experience these all the time. Just living, this is we always experience it. So the idea here is that it's encouraging us to think of Krishna as we experience this world in all of its variety. That's the idea here. And to hammer into us that there's no experience, there's nothing in this world that's separate from him. It's all simply a production of his energies, and the interaction of those energies are what produces the fragrances and the sights and everything like that. So Prabhupada here talks about the original, and that's something that's an attractive feature, something that's pure. There's punya. Punya means pure. So the pure fragrance of the earth. You know, people like get away from the city, go take a walk in the woods, and there's a certain fragrance there that's attractive. you know. Nobody's attracted to the fragrance of the downtown, you know. God, I remember living for so long. You know, to this day, I have sensitive lungs for living for years in New York and Philadelphia. Anywhere on the East Coast gets everything swept toward it, you know. And here on the West Coast, we're getting the sea breeze. It's a lot purer. So when the pure fragrance of the earth is attractive, the heat and fire and the life of everything. Now we're all spirit souls, that we're jivas, right? Jivanam sarvabhuteshu. So in everything that is alive, we know there's a spirit soul. Where did the spirit soul come from? It's Krishna's marginal energy. So in this way, we see in everyone a part and parcel of Krishna. We're thinking of Krishna. So the whole point here is that Arjuna couldn't practice, or didn't want to practice, felt he wasn't qualified to practice the strict yoga system, where you're really dealing directly with the mind and wrestling it. But in this chapter, it begins with the words, Maya Sakta Manapata. And now I'm going to show you how you can make your mind naturally attracted to me. If the mind is trained to see Krishna in everything and to think of the all-attractive Krishna, it becomes much easier to meditate. The idea is we need to get to the point of always remembering, always meditating, thinking of the absolute truth. And the most attractive, original form of the absolute truth is Krishna himself. So how to get to that point? Well, we begin where we're at. We're in the material energy, we're experiencing all the fragrances and the visions and all these different things. So think of those things in relation to Krishna. That's the whole idea here. Now, practically speaking, it only works when you are making the effort to engage those things in Krishna's service. If you're trying to enjoy these different sensations, then Maya comes down with a curtain, and you forget. That's it. Now, Kunti says, Maya Jamini Kachanam. That's literally the curtain of Maya. Agyat Hokchajam Abhyayam. Nanakshise Buddha. Those of foolish vision. This is a vision he's giving us here, but the foolish vision they're trying to enjoy, and so Maya comes down with this curtain. And they can't perceive you, even though you're in every atom in every heart. So it's very, the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam, they work together. Okay, any questions on this verse? There's a series here, culminating in text 19, very important. Bijamam savabhutanam vidhipata sanatanam buddhir buddhimatamasmi tejas tejasvinamaham. O son of Pritha, know that I am the original seed of all existences, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the prowess of all powerful men. Purport. Bija means seed. Krishna is the seed of everything. There are various living entities, movable and inert. Birds, beasts, men, and many other living creatures are moving living entities. Trees and plants, however, are inert. They cannot move, but only stand. Every entity is contained within the scope of 8,400,000 species of life. Some of them are moving and some of them are inert. In all cases, however, the seed of their life is Krishna. As stated in the Vedic literature, Taittiriya Upanishad 3.1, Yato vahimani bhutani jayante. Brahman, or the Supreme Absolute Truth, is that from which everything is emanating. Krishna is Para-Brahman, the Supreme Spirit. Brahman is impersonal, and Para-Brahman is personal. Impersonal Brahman is situated in the personal aspect. That is stated in Bhagavad Gita 14.27. Brahmanohi pratishtaham. Which let's just take this apart. A very, very famous phrase. Pratishta aham. That's two words mixed together. Aham is I, Krishna speaking. Pratishta means resting on, founded on. What is rested? Brahmana. Brahmana here means Brahman, the Brahman effulgence. Similarly, the Brahman effulgence is resting on me, or I am the foundation of the Brahman effulgence. In other words, it's a subordinate reality. It's not that Krishna emanates from Brahman, which the Mayavadis say. Therefore, originally Krishna is the source of everything. He is the root. As the root of the tree, of a tree, maintains the whole tree, Krishna, being the original root of all things, maintains everything in this material manifestation. This is also confirmed in the Vedic literature, Katha Upanishad 2.2.13, this one we've heard before. Nityo nityanam chaitanas chaitananam eko bahunam yobaladati kaman. Which means, of all of the eternal, Nitya means eternal, Chaitanya means conscious, of all the eternal conscious living beings, there's one who is providing the necessities, Kaman, for all of the others. And that one is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. He is the prime eternal among all eternals. He is the supreme living entity of all living entities. And he alone is maintaining all life. One cannot do anything without intelligence, and Krishna also says that he is the root of all intelligence. Unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So this concept of the seed is key. Every day I do my little meditation running up and down the stairs. And the last meditation is on the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. Now the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam is the original Bhagavatam that Krishna spoke to Brahma, and then Brahma expanded it and gave it to Narada, and came down to Vyasa. Vyasadeva eventually gave it to Shukadeva, and Shukadeva spoke it to Parikshit. So, but it all begins with these 4 verses. So the first one, just like we'll come across it when we hit chapter 10, 10, 8, 9, 10, 11, there's like 4 essential verses of Bhagavad Gita. And the first ones are very similar. Krishna says, Ahame vasame bagre nanya yat sarasat param prashtaraham vireta cha yobashisheta sosviham. That before there is anything, I exist. Now, which proves QED that I, Krishna said, I am the source of everything. How else could it be? If nothing else exists but me before there's any material world. And then after there is a manifestation, nothing else exists but me, because it's all my energy. And after it's all wound up, I will continue to exist. That's the gist of that first verse. Basically, he's saying, I'm the Supreme Absolute Truth. And the same thing is there at 10.8. He says, Aham sarvasya bhavavo mattak sarvam bhavartate. I generate everything, everything emanates from me. So, how does that work? Well, Krishna provides the energy for everything. We just heard that. Both the spiritual and the material energy. I'm talking about the material world now. But he also provides the oversight. In other words, he just doesn't, it's just like, some of these theologians of Prabhupada says of, what does he say, meager brain substance or something like they speculate on what God must be. So, well, this world is obviously working like a fine machine, so there must be an intelligent designer. Oh my goodness, we use that phrase. Yes, there's an intelligent designer. But they have the idea that it's just like a big watchmaker, then the watch works on its own and God doesn't have anything to do with it. It doesn't work that way. He has everything to do with it even after the creation. What is the whole idea of the super soul, the expansion of Lord everywhere? He's overseeing everything at all times by his expansion. But at the same time, he's aloof. This is Achintya Bheda. Krishna's in Goloka enjoying, but he's expanded himself as Purusha avatars, to create and maintain and ultimately destroy this universe. That's the power. So the seed. Now we are the living entity. We're kind of the seeds in this world that make it work, but we're coming from Krishna. So Krishna is ultimately the seed of everything. And the intelligence of the intelligent. Now Krishna, several times he talks about intelligence, buddhi yoga, very significant. We were in chapter 6, in text 20 to 23, I think we were describing the situation of samadhi. Remember, the yogi in samadhi enjoys this transcendental happiness through transcendental senses. But he also says, how does he put it there? So in text 620, okay. Sukamatyaptikam yatad buddhi grayam atindriyam. This is text 21 in the last chapter. That he enjoys this ultimate happiness. Sukham atyantikam buddhi grayam atindriyam, apprehended through his intelligence with transcendental senses. So these transcendental senses of our spiritual body are hooked up to our pure intelligence as well. In fact, you'll find in Krishna consciousness that the intelligence really is a key element. The more that you're focused on whatever you're doing in Krishna consciousness. Focused on hearing the holy name. Focused on studying, focused on cooking, whatever it may be. That's where you can best apprehend and feel the pleasure of Krishna consciousness. The focus of the mind, which is done through the intelligence. So that ability is there. That intelligence is an expansion of Krishna. And then the fire, the tejas. Tejas has different meanings. So tejas means the power of the prowess of the powerful, and it also means like charisma. That's a kind of a power. Brahma tejas, the powers that accrue to a Brahman, his influence as well. So that's all Krishna's manifestation. So, okay, one more. Balam balavatam chaham kama raga vivarjitam dharma varuddho bhuteshu kamosmi bhatatarshava. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles, O Lord of the Bharats, Arjuna. Purport: the strong man's strength should be applied to protect the weak, not for personal aggression. Similarly, sex life, according to religious principles or dharma, should be for the propagation of children, not otherwise. The responsibility of parents is then to make their offspring Krishna conscious. So, everything is there. Everything can be used in, not everything, but most everything can be used in Krishna service. There's a Krishna conscious way of eating, there's a Krishna conscious way of marriage, of propagation, everything. So this means that we can live in this world, but do it in such a way under the training of the Shastra and the Guru and the Sadhus, that it doesn't deviate us from Krishna consciousness, but brings us closer to Krishna. That's the great gift Srila Prabhupada gave us. He gave us a whole culture, not just some philosophy, but a whole culture based on the philosophy, a way of doing everything. So then we can be confident that that's, and it's not. Prabhupada always taught us, yes, in the Krishna conscious marriage, to bring up Krishna conscious children. That's the purpose of it, of the sex life. Okay, so now he kind of sums up, and then he leads to text 14, which is key verse. Ye chaiva sattvika bhava rajasas tamasascha ye matta eveti tan vidhi natvaham teshu te mahi. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. Purport: all material activities in the world are being conducted under the three modes of material nature. Although these material modes of nature are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, he is not subject to them. For instance, under the state laws one may be punished, but the king, the lawmaker, is not subject to that law. Similarly, all the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna. But Krishna is not subject to material nature. Therefore, he is nirguna, which means that these gunas or modes, although issuing from him, do not affect him. That is one of the specific characteristics of Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here, he's directly saying, I am in one sense everything. Matta eveti tan vidhi. From me, everything comes. So there's a verse in Bhagavatam, idam hi vishram bhagavani vetara. Idam hi vishram. This universe is Bhagavan, although it seems to be different from him. In other words, the old one and different. Is one in the sense we've just been discussing, that everything is his energy, and the energy is not different from the energetic, like the sun and the sunshine, and therefore we can see Krishna everywhere. So he's aloof from it, but at the same time he's within everything. Now, this idea of the modes of nature emanating from Krishna, or they're being within him and he's not affected, even when he walks the earth, this is a recalls another important verse from Bhagavatam. Etad ishanam ishasya prakrististopi tadgunai na yujjate sadatmastaya yata buddhis marashriya. Or tarashriya, I'm sorry. So, this says, here is the divinity of the divine. This is etad ishanam. Ishanam is divinity, or the ishaness. You know what I mean? Of the isha. What is it? That even though he's in the modes of nature, or he moves among them, he's not affected by them. Because, on the contrary, they're always within him. Just like he says here. They're under his control completely. And the last line, similarly, the intelligence of those who take a full shelter of him is also not affected by the modes of nature. This is just like the end of chapter 14. How can we transcend the modes of nature? Mam cha yova bichare nam bhakti yogena sevate. Sogunan samati jaitan brahmabhuya yagalpate. Krishna first gives the symptoms of one who's transcended. There's a word tulya, which he keeps repeating, and tulya means equal. You know? Equal within heat and cold, pleasure and pain, honor and dishonor, praise and blame. You know, this is the symptoms or the characteristics of one who's transcended the modes of nature. And where is he? On the Brahmabhuta platform. That's the idea. So by unflinching devotional service, Krishna says, Mam chayo abhyabichari. Abhyabichari means without any deviation. Mam chayo abhyabichari bhakti yogena sevate. So that person, gunan samatityaitan, transcends the modes of nature and comes to the platform of Brahman, Brahmabhuya yakalpate, Brahmabhuta platform. So Krishna is beyond the modes. If we fix our mind on him, we'll also become beyond the modes, which is really good, because it's the modes that are reducing us to act, you know, against Krishna consciousness. So transcending those modes, which is also explained in the next verse, is important. Any discussion on these points? Let's see. Okay, we dealt with it. All right, let's go on. We're getting to the really key verse, text 14. Tribir gunamaya bhavar ebik sarvamidang jagat mohitang nabhijanati mamebhyak paramabhyayam. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. Purport. The whole world is enchanted by the three modes of material nature. Those who are bewildered by these three modes cannot understand that transcendental to this material nature is the Supreme Lord Krishna. Every living entity under the influence of material nature has a particular type of body and a particular type of psychological and biological activities accordingly. There are four classes of men functioning in the three material modes of nature. Those who are purely in the mode of goodness are called Brahmins. Those who are purely in the mode of passion are called Kshatriyas. Those who are in the modes of both passion and ignorance are called Vaishyas. Those who are completely in ignorance are called Shudras. And those who are less than that are animals or animal life. However, these designations are not permanent. I may be either a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or whatever. In any case, this life is temporary. But although life is temporary and we do not know what we are going to be in the next life, by the spell of this illusory energy we consider ourselves in terms of this bodily conception of life. And we thus think that we are American, Indian, Russian, or Brahmin, Hindu, Muslim, etc. And if we become entangled with the modes of material nature, then we forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is behind all these modes. So Lord Krishna says that living entities deluded by these three modes of nature do not understand that behind the material background is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are many different kinds of living entities, human beings, demigods, animals, etc. And each and every one of them is under the influence of material nature, and all of them have forgotten the transcendent personality of Godhead. Those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, and even those who are in the mode of goodness, cannot go beyond the impersonal Brahman conception of the absolute truth. They are bewildered before the Supreme Lord in his personal feature, which possesses all beauty, opulence, knowledge, strength, fame, and renunciation. When even those who are in the mode of goodness cannot understand, what hope is there for those in passion and ignorance? Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all these three modes of material nature, and those who are truly established in Krishna consciousness are actually liberated. So, these modes of nature are really what keep us bound here. That's why they're called gunas. Three gunas are like ropes. And the amazing thing about it, because we can see, even as devotees, you know, we try to cultivate the mode of goodness, which is the foundation to develop pure goodness. Now, it's described, Prabhupada says in here, that even in the mode of goodness, you cannot perceive the Lord. He manifests himself in the mode of pure goodness, which is known as the Vasudeva state. And it's no accident that Krishna is known as Vasudeva, and his father is known as Vasudeva. From him manifests Vishnu, or Vasudeva. We're speaking Vasudeva. So, the attempt of the devotee is to, by the culture of Krishna consciousness, you try to do everything in the mode of goodness. You try to keep clean, regulated, eating. Everything is to maintain that mode of goodness. And then the practices of devotional service are that much more effective. Anyone can chant Hare Krishna. You know, and there's absolutely no restriction of time, place, candidate. But those who take to the chanting, who are a little bit in the mode of goodness, it has a greater effect. I mean, the effect is there, powerful effect anyway. But it also can give you the intuition to pursue this process. Whereas someone who just chants indifferently, the mind is all over the place, you're thinking, you know, all right, I came to see my brother in Hare Krishnas, when are we going to go out, you know, whatever, you know what I mean? In other words, they're really not devotees, they're just kind of there, right? Then the modes are very prominent within the mind, and they act as a block or a filter that prevent you from really becoming attracted to Krishna easily. I know myself, just becoming a vegetarian, it changed my whole mode of being, you know? And then with the yoga and all these different things, and when I chanted Hare Krishna, I was, you know, honestly, I was attracted practically from the beginning. I was already doing yoga, following the regs. I didn't even know what they were, but I was all, you know. And we see that, you know, people who are vegetarians, who are, you know, they get interested in the book and they're ready, you know. Whereas other people, it doesn't make any sense. You know, they're totally in the mode of good passion and ignorance, you know. They wouldn't be caught dead in Hare Krishna time. So these modes are everywhere. They're really effective. And as devotees, we would need to be vigilant to try to avoid letting these modes infect us, the lower modes infect us again. Because they can also distort our understanding of Krishna consciousness. I mean, they're spoken, you know, there's Kapila Dev in the morning, we're now studying Kapila Dev's teachings. It's quite a journey we're going to be on now, because they're very illuminating and conclusive. But he talks about bhakti in the modes of nature, you know, affected by the modes of nature. Karma Mishra Bhakti, which is, you know, by passion, you perform devotional service for some material gain. You're worshiping Krishna, but you're asking some material gain. I was just hearing, to be honest, I'm listening to my old tapes of the Krishna Leela. Have you ever heard them? And so I'm starting with chapter 47, because the earlier chapters were not recorded as well. I have to work on it. But starting with chapter 47, which is actually 46, which is Uddhava going to Vrindavan. And it's a wonderful chapter, 46 and 47. That's where the song of the bee, and he sees the gopis, you know. That chapter 47, Prabhupada told us in the Krishna book itself, that this is an important chapter, because the attitude of the gopis there in separation from Krishna, that's expressed to Uddhava, this was the attitude of Lord Chaitanya, you know, in separation from Krishna. And in Puri, you know, he displayed these same moods. So anyway, after that, Krishna, after Uddhava comes back to Mathura, Krishna's in Mathura now, not in Dwarka yet, Krishna goes to visit, he promised to visit Kubja and Akrura. You remember when he first came, he had to kill Kamsa and all, he said, but I promised to come back. So first he goes to visit Kubja. Now Kubja, or Trivakra, as she was known, was this poor servant lady of Kamsa. And when he came into the town, you know, there's this whole scene where the poor washerman, you know, was a foolish washerman. He had all these clothes, of Kamsa. They had to change their clothes. You know, they're going from coward boys now into like, you know, city guys, Prabhus. So along comes this washerman with all his fancy clothes. It all belongs to Kamsa. And Krishna, you know, he gives him a chance. He says, "Oh, washerman, give us some of these nice clothes." And he gets angry at them. These are the king's clothes, you know. And Krishna cuts his head off with a karate chop. He's blessed by that. Anyway, then they pick up some of the old clothes, and he and the boys they dress themselves, you know. And then there's remember the garland maker, you know, Sudama, the garland maker. So immediately, you know, he's taken with the beauty of Krishna, and he offers some garlands right away, and Krishna blesses him. "Oh, you'll have such a long life, you know, and your senses will stay strong, and you come back." And, you know. So then there comes this hunchback. That's what Kubja means, hunchback. And she's got these. She's also working for Kamsa, and she's got the sandalwood and some scents that she's working. You know, that's her job. But she says, "Oh, you know, she's attracted to Krishna. She's a young girl, but she's hunchback. You know, she says, 'Oh, you beautiful boy.' So she starts putting the scents on Krishna's and Balaram's bodies. You know, and so Krishna, he blesses her. It described how he steps on her foot, and he takes her chin like this, and she straightens her up. It's so nice to. She says she never heard these pastimes before.
There wasn't a karate chop.
Huh?
There wasn't a karate chop. He just went with this, right?
I don't remember that part. It was
It was just like a...
I'm going to look that up and see that. You may have picked that up from a play somewhere. I'm going to see. Anyway, you may be right. But so now Trivaka, you know, suddenly she's a shapely girl. You know, and she says, "Oh, you know, thank you." So she wants to bring him home right away. So she says, "No, I have some business to attend to, but I'll see you later. You know, I'll come afterwards." So I think it may be the next day after, you know, this big day, killing Kamsa. And so he promised. And Akrura, of course, had brought him. He wants to also take him home. Akrura had brought him all the way from Vrindavan. But he said, no, I have some business to attend to, but I'll come visit you later. So he goes to Kubja, and now she's become, what do they call them? You know, society girl. Part of the society girl. She's in a house of other society girls. So she's very happy to see him. He goes with Uddhava. You know, Uddhava sits. She gives Uddhava a nice seat. Krishna a nice seat. Uddhava sits on the floor, and then she says, "Oh," she puts all these nice scents on and everything. You know. So Krishna sits on the bed, and she comes to the bed, and then it's described, but just by smelling the fragrance of Krishna's lotus feet, she's completely satisfied. You know. But the point was, her desire was to be with Krishna for a personal thing. In other words, she's not really on the level of the gopis at all. The gopis seem to be on that level, but their ardent desire is to please Krishna, to serve Krishna. So there's not a whiff of kama amongst the gopis, actually. This is explained in chapter 4 of the Adi Leela. But in Trivaka, there was. She was trying to, you know. So she had the personal contact, she was blessed, but she didn't at all have the blessing of the bliss of devotional service that the gopis felt. So that bhakti can be mixed. It can be mixed up with these modes of nature, and we have to be careful that doesn't happen. Okay, so it's 7:59. We'll save the text 14 for when I come back. I'm going to go to tomorrow night, drive up early. There's a big event up there. The changes of the books, a seminar. Wasn't my idea. There it is. But before that, we can read Krishna book. And where are we? I did put the... Okay, we're going to try to finish this chapter. The rainy season in Vrindavan, with all of these nice analogies. In the rainy season, when the clouds appear for the first time, the peacocks dance with joy upon seeing them. The peacocks can be compared to persons who are very much harassed in the materialistic way of life. If they can find the association of a person engaged in the loving devotional service of the Lord, they become enlightened and dance just like peacocks. We have practical experience of this. Many of our students were dry and morose previous to their coming to Krishna consciousness. But having come into contact with devotees, they are now dancing like jubilant peacocks. In another place, Prabhupada says that, I think he compared it to the fields that become beautiful with the rain. And he says, my devotees were just like that. You know, they were dirty and unkempt, even though they had beautiful features. But now, after, you know, practicing Krishna consciousness, they look just like they came from Vaikuntha, dancing in their robes and dhotis. Plants and creepers grow by drinking water from the ground. Similarly, a person practicing austerities becomes dry. But after the austere performances are completed and he gets the result, he begins to enjoy life in sense gratification with family, society, love, home, and other paraphernalia. He becomes jolly, like newly grown plants and grass. Sometimes it is seen that cranes and ducks meander continually on the banks of the lakes and rivers, although the banks are filled with muddy garbage and thorny creepers. Similarly, persons who are householders without Krishna consciousness are constantly tarrying in material life, in spite of all kinds of inconveniences. In family life, or any life, one cannot be perfectly happy without being Krishna conscious. Srila Narottam Das Thakur prays that he will have the association of a person, either a householder or a man in a renounced order of life, who is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord and is always crying the holy name of Lord Chaitanya. For the materialistic person, worldly affairs become too aggressive, whereas to a person who is in Krishna consciousness, everything appears to be happily situated. The barriers around an agricultural field sometimes break due to heavy torrents of rain. Similarly, the unauthorized atheistic propaganda in the age of Kali breaks the boundary of the Vedic injunctions. Thus, people gradually degenerate to godlessness. In the rainy season, the clouds tossed by the wind deliver water which is welcomed like nectar. When the Vedic followers, the Brahmins, inspire rich men like kings and members of the wealthy mercantile community to give charity in the performance of great sacrifices, the distribution of such wealth is also nectarian. The four sections of human society, namely the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, are meant to live peacefully in a cooperative mood. This is possible when they are guided by expert Vedic Brahmins who perform sacrifices and distribute wealth equally. Vrindavan forest improved from the rains and was replete with ripened dates, mangoes, blackberries, and other fruits. Krishna, along with his boyfriends and Lord Balaram, entered the forest to enjoy the new seasonal atmosphere. The cows being fed by new grasses became very healthy, and their milk bags were all very full. When Lord Krishna called them by name, they immediately came to him out of affection, and in their joyful condition the milk flowed from their bags. Lord Krishna was very much pleased when passing through the Vrindavan forest by the site of Govardhan Hill. On the bank of the Yamuna, he saw all the trees decorated with beehives pouring honey. There were many waterfalls on Govardhan Hill, and their flowing made a nice sound. Krishna heard them as he looked into the caves of the hill. When the rainy season was not ended completely, but was gradually turning to autumn, sometimes, especially when there was rainfall within the forest, Krishna and his companions would sit under a tree or within the caves of Govardhan Hill and enjoy eating the ripe fruits and talking with great pleasure. When Krishna and Balaram were in the forest, Mother Yashoda used to send them some fruits, sweetmeats, and rice mixed with yogurt. Krishna would take them, sit down on a slab of stone on the bank of the Yamuna, and call his friends to join him. When Krishna and Balaram and their friends were eating, they watched the cows, calves, and bulls. The cows appeared to be a little tired from standing with their heavy milk bags. By sitting and chewing grass, they became happy, and Krishna was pleased to see them. He was proud to see the beauty of the forest due to the rainy season, which was nothing but the manifestation of his own energy. At such times, Krishna would praise nature's special activities during the rainy season. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that the material energy or nature is not independent in its actions. Nature is acting under the superintendence of Krishna. This is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, which states that material nature, known as Durga, is acting as the shadow of Krishna. Anyone know the verse? Srishti, Stiti. You know it? See? Skala. Chaya. Did you learn that in Brooklyn, in 55th Street?
No, just because, the Gurukul kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This Prabhupada quotes this verse a lot. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. It means creation, maintenance, destruction. Sadhana Shakti Ekha. It's all feminine, so you get the Ekha, everything long. And is carried out by the material energy. But she's Chayeva, she's just like a shadow or a reflection of Krishna. She can't move independently. Bhuvanani Bibharti Durga, named Durga, and she's maintaining this world also. Chayeva Yasabhuvana Bharti Durga, Itchanarupam, following his desire, she works. Itchanarupam, Anurupa means following. Abhyascha Chateshtatesa, all our activities are just following the instruction of Krishna, she's God. This is an important concept because the scientists, they're all thinking that this nature is acting automatically. You know what I mean? It's like if you want to know how things happen, well, you got to get into the nature, and you find how you know the chemicals are working, and you know, but what's behind it all? You know, they don't see the consciousness behind it. It's like finding, you know, how does the car move? Oh, we know how a car moves. You know, we know exactly how the combustion is working and the engine expanding. You forgot about the driver. Anyway. Whatever order is sent from Krishna, material nature obeys. Therefore, the natural beauty created by the rainy season was acted out according to the indications of Krishna, who thus felt very proud of material nature's beautiful activities. Now this is also important for us because here we are in SanDiego, you know, you can walk down to the beach and there's a beautiful sunset and the beauty of nature. But it's important to see, well, this is just a slight reflection of Krishna's beauty. That's the idea. Anything beautiful or fabulous in this world, the Krishna says in the 10th chapter, is just a spark of my splendor. So this is how devotees appreciate the natural beauty. Oh, this is, you know, Krishna's beauty being reflected in the sunset or peacock, whatever. When Krishna and Balaram were enjoying the gifts of the rainy season in this way, the autumn season gradually arrived, when all the water reservoirs become very clean, and when pleasing and refreshing air blows everywhere. With the appearance of autumn, the sky was completely cleared of all clouds, and it recovered its natural blue color. The blooming lotuses in the clear water in the forest appeared like persons who have fallen down from yoga practice, but have again become beautiful by resuming their spiritual life. Everything becomes naturally beautiful with the appearance of the autumn season. Similarly, when a materialistic person takes to Krishna consciousness and spiritual life, he also becomes as clear as the sky and water in autumn. The autumn season takes away the rolling of dark clouds in the sky, as well as the polluted water. Filthy conditions on the ground also become cleansed. Similarly, a person who takes to Krishna consciousness immediately becomes cleansed of all dirty things within and without. Krishna is therefore known as Hari. Hari means he who takes away. Krishna immediately takes away all unclean habits from anyone who takes to Krishna consciousness. The clouds of autumn are white, for they do not carry any water. Similarly, a retired man, being freed from all responsibility of family affairs and taken completely to Krishna consciousness, becomes freed from all anxieties and looks as white as clouds in autumn. Sometimes in autumn the falls come down from the top of the hill to supply clean water, and sometimes they stop. Similarly, sometimes great saintly persons distribute clear knowledge, and sometimes they are silent. The small ponds, which were filled with water because of the rainy season, gradually dry up in the autumn. As for the small aquatics living in the reservoirs, they can't understand that their ponds are diminishing day by day, as the materially engrossed persons cannot understand that their duration of life is being reduced day by day. Such persons are engaged in maintaining cows, property, children, wives, society, and friendship. Due to the reduced water and scorching heat from the sun in the autumn season, the small creatures living in the small reservoirs of water are very much disturbed. They are exactly like uncontrolled persons who are always unhappy from being unable to enjoy life or maintain their family members. The muddy earth gradually dries up, and newly grown fresh vegetation begins to wither. Similarly, for one who has taken to Krishna consciousness, desire for family enjoyment gradually dries up. Because of the appearance of the autumn season, the water of the ocean becomes calm and quiet, just as a person developed in self-realization becomes free from disturbance by the three modes of material nature. In autumn, farmers save the water within the fields by building strong walls so that the water contained within the field cannot run out. There is hardly any hope for new rainfall. Therefore, they want to save whatever is in the field. Similarly, a person who is actually advanced in self-realization protects his energy by controlling his senses. It is advised after the age of 50, one should retire from family life and conserve the energy of the body for the utilization in the advancement of Krishna consciousness. And thus one is able to control the senses and engage them in the transcendental loving service of the Mukunda. There's no possibility of salvation. So we'll complete that chapter on Monday. Oh, no, we won't. Monday is Balaram's appearance day. That will be the special festival. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Tuesday.
You sure it's Tuesday?
Yeah.
Are you absolutely positive?
No, next week.
Next week?
Yeah.
Not Monday?
It's Monday. Lord Balaram is on Monday.
Yeah.
I said Monday. You see, what did you say, Tuesday?
Tuesday.
No.
Tuesday is the day after Balaram's appearance day. That's what I said.
I just remember it as the day after Rath Yatra. It was like not even the day
Yes.
in between.
Yes, there's no day. There's a whole big weekend coming up.
It's like the day before Rath Yatra. Can I handle it?
Yeah, I think this year also, if I'm not mistaken, that Ekadashi falls the day after Prabhupada's appearance day.
What does?
Ekadashi.
It does.
Right?
Well,
Yes.
tomorrow's Ekadashi, you know that.
Yeah. But I mean, in a
And
couple
we're
of
having the
weeks.
Krishna kids here tomorrow night,
Yes.
so I don't know.
I don't know
If
if I'm
planning
gonna be-
on
I think
feeding
I'm
them.
gonna miss.
When you think kids, you have
Right,
to
huh?
think feed, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna be putting on a show here, but we're losing a lot of members here.
Yeah.
We don't have as many people to.
So tomorrow, Akashi?
Tomorrow's Akashi.
Yes, it is. For
And
sure.
tomorrow night, all the Krishna kids are coming from.
Is it the older group or the younger group? Yeah.
It's a little mixed, but it's the kids that are gonna put on the play.
Yeah.
You know, the whole thing that they do.
I know, but sometimes there's some older kids.
Well, by the time they come here, a lot of them are together.
Oh, they've already merged? I see.
Yeah.
You and me.
Because they'll all be there
Okay.
for Rath Yatra.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss this portion.
But if you need the little microphone, or can I close this?
Yeah, the little one, put it on the Hyundai, okay?
Are you going to Rath Yatra this year? No. No? You're not going to be.
Oh, this one, yeah. Really expert.
Coming from Balaram? Coming from Lord Balaram?
That would be on Monday.
Yeah, just come to class.
He said come earlier.
Yeah. Are you going to do classes for Lord Balaram?
They didn't ask me.
Oh.
We'll see, I might.
No, we have class on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay.
With Balaram, the program starts about 5:30.
5:30.
Yeah.
Are you
What about 6?
Oh.
Read?
Yeah, be here at 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't done any
Really
charts
excited.
already.
Every year. But, yeah.
I'm very excited about going this year.
Go to Rath Yatra?
Rath Yatra. It's been a while.
Oh, you didn't go in?
Shouldn't have-
I haven't been in a long time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to it, but it's also,
Yeah, the best
since
way.
I'm doing the bus thing, I'm
Yeah,
organizing the
that bus is a
buses.
real godsend.
But we'll get there. But yeah, once they get there, once they hopefully there, then
Yeah.
I just have to, I gotta check everybody in, and then we have to stop in Oceanside. And then of course I have to check everybody back on the bus to make sure we don't lose anything.
It's not in the real thing is
Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyambadi Paschachari Satarine Namaste Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Jaya Radha Giridhari, Radha Giridhari, Radhe. Jaya Radha Giridhari, Radha Giridhari, Radhe. Gopremanandi Hari Hari Bol. Jai Vishnupada Paramahansa Pravidikacharya Ashtottara Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBD Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupada Paramahansa Pravidikacharya Ashtottara Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavindra Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Shri Kahor Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasari Gaur, Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath, Shamakund Radhakund, Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadip Mayapur Dham ki jai, Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai, Ganga Mahi ki jai, Yamuna Mahi ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Namaste Narasimhaya Paladhalarandayine Hiranyakashipo Vakshaha Shilatankana Kalaye Hito Nishinga Parato Nishingo Yato Yato Yamitato Nishinga Bahe Nishingo Rindaye Nishingo Nisrinharading Sharanam Tapaje Tabakara Kamalavare Nakam Hambuta Shringa Talita Hiranyakashipu Tanum Bringa Keshavantrita Narari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kamalavare Tavakara Kamalavare Naka Aguta Shringa Talita Hiranyakashipu Tanum Bringa Keshavantrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jangandisha Hare Tavakara Kamalavare Keshavandrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jangandisha Hare Keshavandrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Nrsimhadev Jaya Nrsimhadev Jaya Nrsimhadev Jaya Nrsimhadev Shringa Bhagavan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Joyce, you know the DEC is back to, the water's not going down. What to do? Is there
I don't know.
plumber,
Yeah.
a snake that can go down there?
I problem.
What's it?
Problem. Every day. Last week.
Yeah, not in the kitchen, but in the, where they wash Lord's plates, you know what I'm talking about.
So Rachel, do we really have a sink stuck up there? Do you know?
I don't know.
Can you check it out?
Okay.
Are you a plumber type person?
No.
Who's up?
Lenny.
You're putting proper to rest?
Well, I'm taking the,
You're taking the chop?
yeah.
Would you have to sell the skeleton crew here now?
I know, yeah. It's pretty scary. Drying up and blowing away.
Yeah, like there's plenty of room for brahmacharis.
There are plenty of room for brahmacharis.
Maybe some can come from LA or someplace else.
Why not? Share the wealth. Well, we have one here. Dr. Davis, but I don't think he'll be staying.
Who?
Dr. Davis. He's
Oh,
from
yeah.
LA. He stayed, I think, till LA.
Why does he stay here?
Huh?
Why does he stay here?
Well, I don't know what happened. Philosophy with that. You know, we do have a little brush, in case you're interested.
Yeah, I usually just.
You don't need it.
Okay, you guys gonna take care of Prabhupada because,
Well, I'm just cleaning up the flowers because nobody ever cleans up the
well,
flowers.
it's
Supposed to do it.
Is there 3 people doing what one person can do?
Well, I just,
Drying up brothers, I'm done.
I've just discovered that whenever I come, if it's not done, I just do it.
No place to put it.
So,
Notice that when you're going back.
Nobody seems to.
Well, the thing is, Zach is supposed to do it in messenger here.
So if I
see
scan-
it, sometimes I'll do it today. It's good to be.
Thank you so much for that magnetic. Very nice, very nice.